Hey everyone, this is John Feneck with the Feneck Commodities Report. With me today is Glenn Jessome, who is CEO of Silver Tiger SLVTF in the States. Glenn, great to see you again.
John, it's always good to see you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
You're looking nice and
Um,
cash today. I like that. The hat, I should put mine on too. I would have. It's a great look.
I usually don't do this, but it's summertime and my daughter's home, and it's a chaos. It's chaos.
Excellent. Excellent.
So Glenn, tell us a little bit about your Tiger update here. I mean, the last time I had you on was which wasn't too long ago. You were planning a site visit. How did that go?
Well, let's start with that. So look, I think Reader's Digest version on Tiger, and raising money in the last little while. We've raised almost $100 million in the last 3-4 years when everybody else is, it's been tough to get capital to drive your project forward. That's all institutional capital. That's the Vanecks. The Franklin Templetons. That's the Sprott Asset Management. That's Merck. That's all the big guys and gals. So every once in a while we got to take these people down and show them our progress. So I do these very regularly. I like to do 3 or 4 at a time, so it's not too over the top. Everybody gets time with, especially the technical team. When we go down there, it's a 3-day in and out trip. These are important people. Joe Foster from Van was there this time. I mean, he's a
Oh,
legend
great.
in the industry. So, you don't, Joe's not one to have his time wasted. So we like to get him in smaller groups. And that means that, as you know, Francisco Albalez built all those big pits for Argonaut. He's there.
Yes.
My Charles Spath, my technical team. You want a guy like Joe and the others that are on the trip, bankers and other big investors, to have one-on-one time. So we had a great 3 days, got up to the mountain, and it will get you there someday, John, to see it, because it's just you just
Sure.
it's like paint by number. The underground, we talk about it all daylight, so you see it. The pit is right in front of you. You see why there's zero strip on the starter pit. It's very visual, and
Mhm.
it was a great site visit. And I know that all of those investors went home very, very happy after the visit. And we've actually had deeper dives with all of their technical teams since they came back, just because they wanted them to know how great things were going. So it was a good trip.
Good. Do you have all of the analysts come down regularly, or
Well, on this one, we would have done. I did probably 3-4 months before that one. I like to keep the bankers and the institutional investors together.
Mhm.
And because the institutional investor talks to the analysts all the time. So what I did probably, I think it was November, late November, I took all the analysts. I think it was 7 or 8
Okay.
of them. I brought them all down and we all went to the mountain, and they just, they had the full day there. And so, we'll just keep doing one of these every couple of months. And, I got to get to Mexico regularly. So it's a great time for me to get down and make use of my time to see everybody down there, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So obviously, Mexico had an election this weekend, very important to you. You've been in
Absolutely.
Mexico for 27 years as a leader down there in the mining space. So can you give us some of your thoughts about the results?
Look, we've been through a lot of elections, and they're all different. Um, I don't think I'm speaking out of school against the prior/current administration, AMLO, as many of us have come to know him. He will be there until October 1st, when Claudia Sheinbaum takes over. He has been difficult for mining, for sure. It did not affect us very much at all, because
Mhm.
let's face it, we drove a project from just getting it when his administration came in 17, 18 to all the way to before he leaves. We will have the documentation finished on the pre-feas. We'll talk about that at the end, give a little update on what to expect. Done. So we didn't need a permit. We're currently permitted for the underground. We put our permit application amendment process for the open pit in, and it's just gone through the normal course. But it has been difficult with respect to those that needed permits during his administration and haven't gotten them yet. So we look at Miss Claudia, and most of it's I'm not her friend. I know Morena very well. We have the governor of Sonora is Morena, where my project is. Pro business guy in Sonora, and we'll talk about that in a minute too. But what I really think about Claudia, and the candidates go by first name there. Sochi against Claudia. So let's talk Claudia, who won. I think she's going to be an amazing president. I really do
Okay.
believe that. She's a very intelligent person. She has climbed the entire mountain, and she's now the first female president of Mexico. If you listen to her acceptance speech on late on Sunday night, you could see how important that was to her, not for her, but for females in Mexico. And I
Sure.
think that she has instilled in her, she wants to be remembered as a great president. What are presidents of countries remembered for? Great prosperity, great economic growth. And that's how they basically can execute social programs, as they should, for all of their constituents. I think that she has inside of her, it's my thought, that she wants to be a great president, and I really think she will be. I think she'll be a great president in running Mexico in a very business-like manner. She was the mayor of Mexico City. That was run during her time there before she left to run for president in an amazing way. She worked she did private ventures, public-private ventures. She really had that city operating very well, even during COVID. And so
Right.
we expect good things. We think, if you want to know the truth, she's now won. We think it's going to be better in Mexico going forward for business. And we have other reasons why we think that, just some of her first actions. The speech was the first. It was very conciliatory. It was not in any way, it was reaching out to the other side to unify Mexico, but it also directly reached out to, and very big part of her speech, foreign public investment. She said that several times during her speech. People
Okay.
can go listen to it. I'm Spanish, you have to understand, but that was very important. We thought that was a great message, and we think it's going to continue. And then something happened today that we were kind of a little bit surprised, in that she's already on the forefront of kind of putting a message out there. Mexico is open for business. And remember, she's not in the seat until the 1st.
Right.
And if you want to hear about what we saw today, because she made a public announcement through her new finance minister, which it kind of, for us being there a long time, it was a real message, a shot across the bow. Boy, is she ever getting at business is going to be open in Mexico again. And I can tell you about that if you'd like me to.
Yeah, I would. I mean, and just to point this out, this is the same finance minister that was under
Yes, I'm
AMLO,
talking.
right?
That's right. That's right. So the guy, the gentleman is Rogelio Ramirez. I don't know him. He's Morena. He was AMLO's Secretary of Finance. Called it a Minister of Finance. Very important person in the country.
Sure.
Very well known, well liked, a good business person. So she's not even in power today. But as you know, AMLO has done some things that have probably tainted foreign investment a little bit. And I think that what the markets saw in this, and there's been a reaction in the US, and there's been a reaction to our stocks, is that they saw her coming in with a big majority, a lot of power, and they immediately think she is going to not act in a business-like manner, or be business friendly or foreign investment friendly. And that was just what people thought. And the peso is 18 against the US dollar. You saw a lot of, some of the Mexican companies dropped as much as 15% in the last couple of days, big mining companies there. The ETFs for Mexico were down 10, 12, 13%. Like this is
Yeah.
a
So
devaluation of the peso.
why
But
why is it so drastic in your view?
well,
There's no perfect answer, but we all knew she had a huge lead going into the election.
why is because she really now she won so handily, and also she's got a lot of support in Congress and Senate. She's not going to control, but it's like in the US. Okay, you guys, president comes into maybe Reagan was the last big win. He's got
Right.
support of Congress, maybe not the Senate. I think that's where it'll end up here, but he's got a mandate now to do things. He did really good. Like probably one of the best and U.S. presidents in my lifetime. I
Sure.
recall. I was very young. She's got that mandate now, and the immediate thing I think people is okay. Well, Morena, look at Mr. AMLO. Look at AMLO. Maybe she's going to do that, and there's uncertainty. But I thought
Yeah.
today was something fascinating that came out. So and we've never seen this before in Mexico. Remember, she's not president yet.
Yeah.
But she sees this reaction, and it's very important. She sees the peso being devalued. She sees stocks going down, uncertainty on Mexico on a business perspective.
Right.
And so she immediately came out and announced or had, and she sent out, and this guy did a 3-minute presser. And he was the minister of the minister of finance in our lingo, and basically sent it out to every investment dealer. It went to Wall Street, Bay Street, all over the world, and said, join at 7 o'clock in the morning, this morning. And basically what he said in there, I've just got it. It was sent to me from Mexico. I listened to it, and it just says, look, I'm here on behalf of our new president to announce that I am going to be her Secretary of Finance, Minister of Finance, whatever you want to call it. And here are the 5 points. And the 5 points were this is her message. It was number one, we're open for business. I'm summarizing, please don't,
Sure.
we're open for business. The institutions of Mexico are going to be well respected. Rule of law is going to be well respected. Decisions we make, the integrity of the Bank of Mexico is going to be well respected. Decisions we make with respect to Mexico are basically going to be on an economic basis. And the last thing,
Okay.
we are very, very interested in a dialogue with all foreign investors that want to do business in Mexico, and we are completely open to foreign investment. That's a strong message. When you're
Of
not even,
course.
you're the president in 36 hours or whatever it is to come out with that. And I think that was something that when I saw it, I went, boy, I looked at that and said, remember I said, I think she's going to be very good president. I thought she was going to be very focused on making Mexico successful. And when I saw that, I went, yeah, she wants that message out there now, because really she's
Right.
not going to be in a position to do anything about it till October. But everybody calm down, calm. Here's what we're going to do when we get there. And even when, so far as had the person on the call who is going to be running her transition with the minister, and said, here is our information, contact us. And remember, this would have went to Goldman, this would have went to all the big investment banks. This wasn't meant to be publicly disseminated. We got it because we've been there so long, so it was sent to us, and I think it's going to be well received. So that's why that was the message I took out of that today, and I'm sure you can find this somewhere if you go look for it, and maybe something that you might want to get out to your viewers to listen to, because I mean, I listened to it. I just got it 5 minutes. I just been going all day. I listened to it just before I came on, but yeah, I think you should find that, and I'll try to steer you in the right direction if I can to get it. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. So yeah, we see this as an opportunity as well as value managers.
100%.
We've put bids on Silver Tiger the last couple of days, but
Oh
also
my God.
bigger companies like Presneo or smaller companies like Sonoro. There's so many companies that are going to be affected by this ultimately. But in talking to you as well as management of both of those other companies, everyone's kind of seeing it the same way. Like this is an overreaction,
Yeah.
and they just can't afford to be, you know, like the new regime can't afford to be like the old regime.
Look, here's the way I'm looking at it. For me, I've got look, and I don't want to say this and to my shareholders the wrong way. We go from $100 million market cap company to north of, and I can say these numbers because I can say who my peers are. I can't say where I'm going, but we'll have the same production profile just from our pit as an Aya or a Silvercrest. Full stop. You go look at where they are trading right now, and you look at our 100 million market cap Canadian, okay, or a little less now. That we know the only way to win is to build this mine. We are 100% confident that we're going to get what we require by the fall, early next year, whenever it drops. We're going to be ready to build in the summer, and we're going to go forward, and we're going to do that. That's how we make our value, and that's what I'm there until well past that. So I guess what I'm telling you that is when I see our stock go down 15 or 20% because of this, I don't lose any sleep over that. I know that that's
Yep.
inevitable. That's human reaction to risk, and people manage risk differently. People see risk.
Sure.
Oh my goodness, the peso. Look at these big guys, they're selling. I got to sell. So we're gonna leave that alone. But you've nailed it. you're getting a 20% discount in Silver Tiger for no reason. We're better than we were on Friday of last week. But that's just human reaction. So good for you guys to be picking up some of this thing at a discount.
Yep.
Let's just see how things go. Let's give her time. We think that message was extremely important, and I think that gets disseminated. People will see that. She's very concerned about the economy, to let everybody know she's going to rule as a good president, and also that most importantly for us, we're foreign investors. You're a foreign investor in Mexico. We
Sure.
all are. We know they've got 150 million of the 800 million silver ounces made a year. So anybody who wants exposure to silver, well, you better pay attention to Mexico. So we're all looking at that. And this was an invitation and a confirmation that just let me get in the seat and we're open for business. And that is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It's what we thought. It's what we thought. We never thought we would get that message vindicated until October 1st. But boy, we're 36 hours in and it's already been sent out from her administration when she's not even president. So good stuff, good message. This little storm will pass and everybody get back to business. And maybe we should take a minute and let you know what's coming up for Tiger too. So, it's
Sure.
summer, it slows down, but we're going to be going fast. So, I know your shareholders know us and we got lots of money in the bank, so I don't have to worry about raising money right now. So value of where I
That's a
am
positive.
today compared to where I'm going to go when I build, I'm not thinking about it. We're going to finish the PFS in, I'm telling my guys I want in July, latest early August. We got a big, the big shows come up. We got Beaver Creek right into Dallas. And if everything goes right, I'm my technical team. I'm meeting them at that giant, the biggest mining show in the world, held every 2 years in Vegas, right after the Denver Gold Show. And they tell me we got to go buy a lot of trucks and equipment. So that's I'm hoping I'm writing checks down there and buying what they need. So we're going to go to that big mining equipment show. But I want PFS fully delivered for all my shareholders that believe in me. That's the build document. I'm not going to get into it in that PFS, and I press release this. Gonna have more metal than the PEA. We're gonna have more ore than the PEA. It's going to be a fantastic document. It'll all be laid out how we're going to build it. The metallurgy will be all fine-tuned in there because it's a more robust document, less de-risked than the PEA. But the nice part is the mountain. Those first 3 years of production, probably 3.5 of the 10 or 11 we're going to have in that pit. The mountain gave us 0 strip there and almost a gram gold equivalent in the pit. And that's you don't get that. So that whole 3.5 years with a 1.7-year payback in the PEA, we've moved all that to measured and indicated. And because we could do that, that's how we can do it on the PFS. And so all the banks are in the data room looking at that. They've confirmed they will accept that to give me the debt to build it. It's only a 59 million US capex. So things are going very, very well on that front. Stay tuned for that. We'll press release all that. People will see how great it is soon this summer. But we don't stop. Simultaneously that, as you know, pit's one part, the underground's the big part here. We'll be drilling that for the next 10, 20 years and then developing as we're permitted for that already as of right, but starting with the pit because it's the right way. We're gonna just come out with that first little economic test on that, a PEA first half of next year. We're down to a bench study by the fall on that. All the column work is being done on the metallurgy now. So that'll be something to look forward to as the next stage. Hopefully we're building in the fall, the pit. We're coming with the underground economic assessment because, once we get that 12-month build on the pit, as soon as that cash flows, boom, we start the development underground and we already have the mill. The mill is now on site. It arrived on site for the underground about 2 weeks ago. They got get that to the mountains, so we're moving that. But really, what's really important? Remember the underground, most of the pit by the time the PFS is done, we'll probably add 10% more to that or 15% as we drill it through life of the mine. That's pretty well done. The underground's just starting. So we got to get back to drilling. Remember those drill results? 10, 20 meters of a kilo or two in the sulfide zone, 10, 15 meters of a kilo in the shale, and high grade, we have intercepts in the veins up to 86 kilos. I love that stuff. we just stopped because we started finishing the economic work for the test. We're gonna get back underground in the fall. Remember, we have the development there. And we're
Sure.
gonna start drilling that and then, building, hopefully, drilling super high grade wide zones in the underground and releasing first half of next year, the PEA. So, nobody can say we slowed down through this period that in Mexico the last 5 or 6 years. And we think it's now time to capitalize. So a lot to look for coming forward here in the Tiger over the next 6 or 8 months. And stay positive on Mexico. We're not going anywhere. It's business as usual for us down there.
Great, Glenn. One last question or comment that you can comment on. The last time we interviewed, I think silver was struggling with 26 an ounce. It obviously broke through that major resistance level very, very easily. And then we went out to our subscribers and said that brings in a test of 30 pretty quickly because there wasn't a ton of resistance to the 30 level, which has held since 2013. But then we broke through that on a Friday in May very easily, which surprised me. Silver was up 6.3% that day, and then it went all the way to 32 plus, right? So how much does it matter to your project for every extra dollar that silver goes up?
All right, so this is funny. Look, we're miners. We've been doing this for a long time. We've built a lot of mines in Mexico, our group, and we've sold a few of them to majors before we got to build them. So for us, it's always about building, but we have to be conservative. We can't do our tests at 30. I mean, you guys can always talk about 30. When we were so just thinking about this, okay? And we'll talk about why. So when my PEA came out, almost $300 million, these are all US dollars NAV, 1.7 year payback, makes $500 million over the 10 years of after-tax free cash flow, 1.7 year payback. That is at 1850 and 23. Go look at my verified presentation. Gotcha. And then I say, and then I've only got 1 or 2 on the down, 2 or 3 on the downside of that sensitivity. If it's here, the project looks good. And then we went, I think, 3 to the upside. Okay. We never think about that upside because it's too beautiful. Makes me too happy. But we already, think about this, have gone to the last column with prices today on my sensitivity table in a matter of, it only came out in November. I was joking when I showed it to some of the guys the other day, some of the back investment institutions. I said, I got to add a couple more columns at like 35 and 38. But just at today's prices, I want to tell you something. You want to know what it does? Okay, I'll tell you what it does. Don't quote me on it, but it's close. That $287 million net present value goes up to 600.
Wow.
At today's price. The IRR goes from 57%, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Up to 78%. It doesn't make 455 million USD over the mine life of 10 or 11 years. It makes over 700 million. The payback goes from 1.7 years to 1.1 years. So, wow. Does it make a difference? People should be paying attention. And when we put our PEA out, our PFS, we're not going to go to those numbers. We might just, as a little sweetener, say, oh, well, here's the sensitivity. So at today's price, it's this. We can't do that. We got to use what's consensus. And consensus today, we're limited by, it's still going to be, I think, 24.72, and gold will be 22. Still better. But boy, when you look at that sensitivity, you understand how it's going to be. This is so simple. If people think that silver is coming back, solar power, we've gone through this. Solar, the new tech, it's using 200 million now of the 800 that's being made. EV cars, 20% more in an EV car, silver, 30% more in an EV car compared to a traditional car, which still uses silver. On and on and on it goes. All the uses for it, like the cold sintering. We are making 800 million silver equivalent ounces. We need 1.2 this year. We're going to go over the next 3 years from 54 primary silver producing mines down by 2029 to 38. Like the AISC, I rave about this. Ours at Tiger is $11. That's why we make so much money.
Yeah, all-in sustaining cost per ounce.
All-in sustaining cost this year is gone up 57% to 1632 or 1672. I can't remember. And it's going to basically then go up by 9.9%. Silver Symposium numbers for the next decade. the only way a mine really can be a cash flow generator is 2 times AICS. That's a rule of thumb we use. So if your AICS is 17, well, mines need 34 to be relatively profitable. So think about it. Yeah, you want it. Well, you better be willing to pay 34 or 35. And as that goes up, what's that going to do to that price? It has to go up. This is so simple. It's sure, call it what you want. This is a metal the world needs. It's industrial. It's actually a strategic metal. It's a battery metal. That's what they
Right.
want to do for. So it's really simple. There's not enough. They need it. That price, in our opinion, just, I don't want to be a guy promoting price, but I'm just saying from a supply demand, a guy who's going to make it when we get this built, it can't be $20. It just
No,
can't.
in our view, I
Nobody's going to
mean,
make it. It
the
can't.
blip that we saw in prices in the fall of 2022 was a blip. It's clear now on the chart in retrospect. But many people, if we were to have this interview last fall, even, were calling 20 as a floor that could get retested. I think that's completely out the window now. I think 26 is the new floor, which was former resistance, right? And that's really bullish for a lot of silver names out there that need higher prices. So you're in a great spot because your
Yeah.
AISC is so low to begin with. So the profitable, when you look at the profitability potential, it's just it's amazing.
Imagine if we keep these prices, we've finished the pre-fees, which is done. I've got Francisco Albalez, the best builder in Mexico, who joined our COO. He's got the keys to build it. He can do it in his sleep. 12 months. Told Joe Foster that raised by 12 months, Joe, I get it done. It's a 59 million capex US. You put 59 in, and at today's prices, it generates, do this, it generates over 700 million USD free cash flow over life of mine.
Yeah,
78% IRR at today's prices. I'm not talking about, oh, if we had $50, I'm talking about today's prices.
right, right.
So yeah, we're pretty excited. I can't wait to join, as I think I said, in 2028, 2029, we're gonna have, 40 or 38 left as primary silver producers. I can't wait to get on that list. And that's what we're working to do.
We'll keep up the good work, Glenn, and we look forward to having you back on the show sometime later this summer when the PFS is public.
And that's going to be, thank you, John, because I really want to get back on here. July is my goal, and really get back on for a half hour, and let's really tear it apart for all your viewers. I'd love to do that.
Great.
Great.
Well, thank
Thanks,
you, Glenn.
John. Appreciate it.
Of course.